My name is Shaun Attwood. I went to jail for 6 years in Arizona for importing ecstasy. There's a story arc here. The glitz, the glamour. Then there's the phase of paranoia, the undercover cops following you around, the competition moving in my case, Sammy the Bull's crew. And then there's the incarceration or death phase. Shaun Attwood, who am I? I think I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to figure that out. Growing up not far from here, Widnes, Cheshire, chemical manufacturing town, didn't have much money, and I got weirdly interested in the stock market as a teenager. Got loads of books from the library, and going down that path kind of like changed my fate, because I borrowed 50 quid off my nan, put it in BT shares, doubled on the first day, and I was hooked. Till all my mates in Widnes, I'm going to make $1 million in the stock market, fly you guys over. That's what I did. Started out as a rookie broker, Wolf of Wall Street style, commission only. I'm living off cheese on toast and bananas in the beginning, running out of money on my student credit cards, worried I didn't have to come home. How you make this jump from being a normal business studies graduate, nerdy guy into the numbers, the computers, is you've got a psychopathic maniac best mate from childhood called Wildman, who's got red dots in his head telling him to hurt people. I promised him when he got out of prison I would get him a job as a wrestler in America. He'd be fighting Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and all these people. That's how idealistic I was. He came over from America and he just like took control of the street people, started throwing non-stop parties. Every residence I put him in, he was in multiple residences because they were blown up, set on fire, crazy things all happened at them. And he opened the door to that world. So through him, I met the New Mexican Mafia, I met cartel, I met Russian Mafia, I met gangbangers. I wouldn't have met these people if I hadn't brought him over, because they all related to him. It would have been hard for me to kind of meet these people.
And then why did you start in ecstasy trafficking?
When you work in the stock market, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning sales meeting. You are as big as these numbers on the board for the month. Smiling brokers make the most money. We had to have mirrors on our desk to smile. Pacing brokers make the most money. We had to have 24-foot curly cords. All the brokers are like zigging and zagging all throughout the office. And you're on the phone till like 9, 10 at night. Wildman came over. We started partying our asses off. We realized there was no demand for ecstasy. We realized there was hardly any supply for ecstasy there and huge demand for it. And I saw an arbitrage opportunity. I thought to myself, do I want to keep working these long hours in the stock market? Or can I just make money from the party scene? So I did an experiment. I found out where the local dealers were getting them from. This guy out of LA. 2 carloads of us went to LA to buy like, I thought it was 500 or 1,000 pills. And I said to the guy, I want to try the pill. He's like, yeah. Do you want a chaser, a drink? I said, no, I just want to chew it. Because I know what the taste of good ecstasy is. It's like, it should be 125 milligrams of MDMA in clay. And it's proper Holland press. So I eat it, I'm chewing it, I'm like, yeah. So he brings out the biggest bag of pills I've ever seen in my life. He gives me the pills, he counts the bills, and I get out of there. So I'm driving home from LA to Arizona. I've got like a twin turbo Mazda RX-7 like you see in Fast and Furious 1. I've got like this fur seats. We've got Renaissance, the classic music by Sasha and John Digweed playing. And about an hour into the drive and the ecstasy starts to hit me, and I feel the fur on the back of the seat just like tickling my head, and my eyes going, woo! And I'm like, just perma-grinning my way down in this spaceship all the way back to Wildman's flat. And those pills sold in a weekend. And that was the point then where I just decided I'm not going to work in the rat race anymore. I'm going full-time into the ecstasy scene.
Grow your business.
How did I grow my business? There were different little cliques of ravers who would come to me when I was still a stockbroker and ask me to invest in their parties. Because I'd show up in my car, blasting like Commander Tom, this German techno with my Bose surround system in these like South Side neighborhoods in these warehouses. So all the ravers were coming up to me, and they nicknamed me the Bank of England, and they'd ask me to invest in their party ideas. Now these little cliques were kind of like competing against each other to have disputes. So when they had disputes, they'd come to me and Wildman to try and resolve their issues. And we'd call them all in and we'd adjudicate. And through this process, we incorporated all of those different local cliques into our criminal enterprise.
How big was your operation?
At its peak, I had over 200 people working for me. We had, it was no longer like just bringing small amounts of pills over from Holland. Our operation was now transporting them through Mexico. People would fly from France, Paris to Mexico City. They'd get the train over to Holland, back to Mexico, Mexico City to Hermosillo. Then we'd take them down to Puerto Penasco, Rocky Point, where we would switch over into vehicles with like diving equipment and tourist bric-a-brac, and the SUVs would have like University of Arizona stickers on them. And I think the most we had in one shipment was about 40,000 pills. Bear in mind they're going for $25, $30. I'm paying a couple of dollars for them out of Holland.
So in terms of, were you surprised how easy it was to grow?
Get that.
I probably was surprised how easy it was, but I was on a lot of drugs as well, so I was kind of taking it for granted. And it was the drugs, they scramble your decision-making process. So you're thinking you're invincible, you're thinking you're above the law, ego's getting more and more out of control. You surround yourself with people who are doing equally demented drug partying after parties going on for days. A lot of my co-defendants ended up chronically addicted to crystal meth, the prosecutor said. We did not keep records of our transactions for obvious reasons, but we went over it all, and the turnover, they estimated, of all the drugs over all the years was in the tens of millions. And the profits from Ecstasy alone, I think, was 5 million plus. And we were classified as a poly-drug organisation, so we were involved in other things as well.
What other things?
LSD, I had my own LSD chemist. We'd have like a flat where we just laid out the gel tabs and let them all dry. Tens of thousands of hits. We had people bringing pharmaceuticals from Mexico. So, party all weekend. No need to come down, take a Xanax, wake up, crisp as a baby. That was our thing. There was mushrooms, bit of coke, bit of meth. But ecstasy was the biggest thing. Ketamine. I would say that the ketamine was probably our second biggest thing. And I'm thinking of Mr. Cool Guy now. $1 million house on the side of a mountain in a gated, guarded community, swimming pool, jacuzzi. Got my own security team, bouncers, like 20, 30 armed guys. I was waking up and I was up like 6 figures. Married a woman who joined a strip club because she fancied one of the girls who worked there, seduced her, and they became lesbian porn actresses. Married her in the Las Vegas Strip. The Little White Chapel, it was called. That was a fun day. And this is where my ego now is as big as the Grand Canyon. We are joking. The cops are never going to catch up with us. We're above the law. We're smarter than the cops. We're living like characters in a movie. And then May 16th, 2002, there was a knock on my door.
Police department, search warrant! Police department, search warrant!
I wake up very early to trade the stock market. Bam, 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 bam on the door. Jump up, look through the peephole, it's blacked out. I'm thinking, is it the cops? Or is it people pretending to be the cops just trying to rob me? So I look out the window. Not a pretty sight. There's police cars everywhere, marksmen, boots coming up the stairs outside. 10p, please, we've got a warrant. Open the door. Go through to the bedroom to my girlfriend. What should we do? We better let him in. Boom! Door just flies off the hinges. Hands above your head. Get on the fucking ground now. Don't move. Time does something funny. It goes really slow. You kind of like freeze. You see all of these eyes behind these plastic visors, SWAT team. And they're looking at you with such intensity. You know that if you make one single little mistake right now, your life is over in seconds. So you just drop to the floor, they squash you. A detective pulled me up by the handcuffs, gets in my face. English, Shaun, you're a big name from the Ecstasy scene, we've finally got you. And reading the police reports later on, he'd been following me for ages and sat in restaurants next to me and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
How much prison time were you looking at?
So when they originally arrested me, I had about 12, 13 charges, each of which carried 10 max. Plus they put serious drug offender status on me, which was 25 to life. After fighting my case for a year, they gave me a second indictment with another dozen charges. And the prosecutor made it clear that if I went to trial and lost, they would stack all of my charges. So you're looking at 200 plus years. And I was at the point now I was just ready to just kill myself.
Did you ever feel like at the time that what you're doing was wrong?
Did you feel the sense?
I thought I was keeping the party going. I didn't see the harm. We were classified as a non-violent drug enterprise. It wasn't like Scarface, chainsaws and that kind of thing. It was cuddle puddles and Vicks inhalers. And the judge at my sentencing actually said, I didn't discriminate about the harm I caused society. I just looked at trading ecstasy as I looked at trading the stock market. So I was on drugs for over 10 years. And it put a cloud in my head I didn't know was there. Once the SWAT team came, and I thanked them for this, the cloud lifted out my head. And when I look back, I was like, oh my God, how are you still alive? And I realized I put people on that road of drug use and I was ashamed. My book, Hard Time, covers all that duration. All right, we arrive at the jail. We're in a van. There's 13 original co-defendants because there were so many of us, they had to arrest us in groups. This is group one. Half men, half women in the van. Wildwoman is in the van. Wildman's partner. Now, Wildman, like I said, he's got these red dots in his head telling him to hurt people. Whenever he's about to do something violent, and this is just from childhood, and I know his body language, his face will remain completely calm, but one eyebrow will go up like this, up to here. Just one of them. The other one stays flat. So, he's watching our female co-defendants get off the van. You've got all the new arrivals at the intake at the Maricopa County Jail, Phoenix, Arizona. You've got gangbangers, people who've been tased, people who've been fighting the cops, hobos, homeless, drunks. Pretty rough and ready crowd. There were some females, looked like streetwalkers, that these guys were heckling. They see our females get out of the van and they're yelling out expletives, stuff like get your tits out or whatever. And I'm watching them come out, and his eyebrow just goes up in and thinking, oh shit, what's he going to do? Wildwoman gets out, and she's the tough scouser. Some of the co-defendants were more scared of her than him. They actually had footage of her chasing Wildman down the street, trying to smash him with this giant fan for the surveillance. So she gets out, and she's totally uncomfortable. So Wildman appears at the top steps of the van. Bear in mind, when he died, he was 29.5 stone and 6'2", right? He's got this huge beard like a Viking. He's been up for like 2 weeks on crack and meth, so his eyes are just completely blood red. He's handcuffed, and he looks at all the lads in the queue, heckling the women. He goes, you lot! Disrespecting all women! I'll be inside with all of you in a minute! And I'll have fucking any of you! And then he just puts his head back, tilts his beard up, and goes, you think I fucking won't?
Did you feel safe in prison?
No. The second you walk in, your adrenaline is going full tilt. The first few nights you can't sleep. Have you ever held a mouse or a bird and felt its heartbeat going? My heart was going like that all night long, so intensively that I could not sleep for the first 2 or 3 nights. The gang members come up to me and say, you've got to get that look of shock off your face or else you're going to get preyed on.
When you say preyed on, what would they do to the inmates?
Anything they want. They'll take your arse, they'll take your commissary. Prison rape is now so common in America, you have to go to a rape class to get taught how not to get raped. It's under Prison Rape Elimination Act. You watch a video, there are some predators in the day room, and the new arrivals come in hungry, and then they take the stuff, food, and then later on the predator says, look, you got to pay for that now, or else you're going to get hurt. Well, I got no money, how am I going to pay for that? You're going to go in that cell over there and do whatever that guy says. And there's no coming back for that. Then they're rented out as punks, prison prostitutes. Dead rats in the food, cockroaches crawling over you at night time, gang members and guards murdering people. I had a video, Peter Van Winkle, Aryan Brotherhood member, this is in the jail I was at, Maximum Security, Madison Street Jail, murdered another guy who refused to beat someone up for the gang, the Aryan Brotherhood. Shows you in his cell, he's just smashing this guy's head over and over into the concrete for 10 minutes. And he's looking at the security camera. Why aren't they stopping me? Next 10 minutes, he's stomping on the guy's head. He's looking at the security camera. Why aren't they stopping me? In the end, he has to pick the corpse up, come out onto the balcony, right in front of the camera, show it him. He tries to throw it off the balcony, gets stuck on the railing, and he starts booting it over and over again. Only then did the guards come in and put this guy down. This is how much control the gangs have got over the prisoners versus the guards. Another prisoner was gang raped. They held him down. They got a shovel from the work crew and they cut his head off. And when his head was finally off, they positioned it in an area of the prison where the other gangs would see it to make the point they were the most violent and ruthless gang, and that was the Aryan Brotherhood. Yeah, I mean, America's toughest sheriff, Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Brutal regime. In Sheriff Joe's jail, breakfast was mouldy bread and green bologna. Green bologna, raw sausage meat, gone past its sell-by date, got a green shine to it. A lot of the food was coming in boxes that says not fit for human consumption or past the sell-by date. And the jail got sued over that because some of them were leaked. The bread, blue mold, green mold. Sometimes our mold came in these fantastic, like psychedelic colours that look like works of art. And we were so hungry, sometimes we just scraped the mold off the bread. Or if the bread was stale, put it in water to swell it down. Evening meal was a mystery meat slop we called Red Death. It looked like carroty vomit blended with blood, all kinds of random meat in it, and it stunk. Occasionally there was a dead rat in it. One time we gave a rat back to the guards. We complained, and they came back later in the day, and so jail won't get any trouble. They said it was just a potato. And there was nothing we could do. The boss of the jail, Sheriff Joe, one of his favourite quotes, it costs us 50 cents or less per day to feed these prisoners the rotten food. And it costs us more to feed our guard dogs, and the guard dogs are working for a living.
Do you regret what you did?
Yeah, my mum had a nervous breakdown. My sister had to have counselling. I saw the harm I caused through getting people on the road of drug use. Most of my mates are dead. Do yoga, believe in karma. I'm trying to restore my karma, doing the talks in the schools, trying to put some good vibes in the world, and hoping people won't make the same mistakes I did by going down that road of drug use and joining the gangs. We've interviewed over 1,000 people on my YouTube channel now. A lot of those people have been to prison. And one of our missions on the YouTube channel is to scare the living daylights out of these young people so they won't end up in these situations where you're having to rip someone's eye out or lose your ass and get rented out as a prison prostitute.
What would your message be to anyone who's thinking of going down the sim?
Don't get gangster-itis, folks. Keep your day jobs. The glitz, the glamour, it's not worth it. It's short term. You could lose your life. You could lose your sanity. And it's not your friends, your so-called fair weather druggy friends who are going to be there for you. They're going to be trying to shag your girlfriend the minute you step foot in prison. Think about what you're doing. Think about the length of that road of drug use and the horrors that can come down it. Yeah, the pleasure's high in the beginning, but every time you take drugs, the pleasure's going down. You're always trying to get back where you started, but you're never going to get there. And the slope just gets slipperier and slipperier until you end up at the gates of hell.